we're looking into the next agenda of what's coming ahead for the ASEAN Summit as discussions are bring forward.
Representing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is His Highness Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud, the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Prince Faisal brings vast experience in diplomacy, and his role here today reflects the Kingdom's strategic outlook on enhancing cooperation with ASEAN in the fields of energy, investment, and regional stability.
This is a powerful image that symbolizes not just diplomatic alliance, but a spiritual connection fed by millions of Muslims in Malaysia and the whole nation of ASEAN. Saudi Arabia and Malaysia enjoys one of the deepest bonds in the world, bound by culture, religion, to long-standing economic ties. From the cooperation to energy security and investment, this partnership is built on trust and legacy, a walk of faith, respect and shared stewardship of the world, a reminder of the responsibilities and possibilities carried by great leadership of these two nations.
Saudi Arabia plays a central and strategic role in strengthening ties between the Gulf Cooperation Council (GCC) and the ASEAN. As the largest economy and political influencer in the GCC, Saudi Arabia's leadership is key in shaping the direction and depth of interregional cooperation. Saudi Arabia is a founding member of the GCC and often leads initiatives related to diplomacy, economic development, energy, and security. In 2023, hosting of the first GCC ASEAN Summit in Riyadh demonstrated its commitment to expanding Gulf ties with Southeast Asia.
Now from the United Arab Emirates, a dynamic leader in innovation, trade, and sustainability, exemplifying the modern spirit of intercontinental collaboration. This is a huge step forward. As we gather here today, we're welcoming the arrival of His Highness Sheikh Saud bin Sakar Al Qasimi of the United Arab Emirates, UAE. A visionary leader who has redefined global engagement through various innovation, strategic technology, and interfaith harmony. The United Arab Emirates and Malaysia share a relationship that thrives on trade, education, Islamic finance, and a forward-looking approach to sustainability and economic diversification. This journey, this walk itself, signifies more than just a protocol. It symbolizes the meeting of two nations with bold ambitions. Together, nations that honor their cultural roots while advancing progress with open minds and open hearts. This conversation echoes a shared future of smart cities, climate cooperation, and human capital development.
His Highness Sheikh Saud bin Sakar Al Qasimi, a ruler of Ras Al Khaimah and member of the Federal Supreme Council of the United Arab Emirates. His Highness has been a key figure in driving the UAE's engagement in international cooperation, and his presence here today underscores the importance of the UAE places on relations with ASEAN nations.
This is a more globally competitive and seamlessly integrated single market to production center, but a significant increase in the trade and investment to enhance the global supply chains. ASEAN is the industrial and manufacturing hub with dynamic micro to small and medium enterprises. It is the hub and center of excellence that is able to leverage on advances to science, technology, and innovation. And this is a new source of competitiveness inclusive of all the creative economy, advanced industry, entirely to elevate the economic integration agenda to create a thriving ecosystem for the ASEAN.
And the United Arab Emirates, or UAE, plays a dynamic and forward-looking role in strengthening ties between the Gulf Cooperation Council and ASEAN. As one of the most globally connected economies in the GCC, the UAE serves a bridge between the Middle East and Asia, with ASEAN being a key strategic partner in its foreign and economic policy. The UAE is among the largest Gulf investors in Southeast Asia, with growing partnerships in sectors such as logistics, energy, fintech, real estate, food security, and halal industries. Major UAE companies like DP World, Badala, and ADNOC have established strong commercial ties in countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Vietnam. With a world-class aviation and shipping infrastructure, the UAE serves as a gateway for ASEAN goods and people heading to the Middle East, Africa, and Europe. The UAE's position as global logistics hub make it an essential partner for ASEAN's global supply chain ambitions.
Now, as Southeast Asia extends its embrace to its distinguished friends from the Gulf, the summit stands not only as a diplomatic milestone, but as a beacon of what is possible when nations rise above rivalry and choose partnership, peace, and progress. This is diplomacy in motion. This is unity in every stride. As the heads of government and state arrive, welcome Malaysia's signature warmth, in ASEAN's full ceremonial honor, this is more than a matter of protocol. It is a resounding declaration of vision and purpose. A purpose anchored in peaceful coexistence, driven by the spirit of dialogue over division and guided by a bold, unwavering commitment to a brighter future, not just for our region, but for the world we collectively inherit and shape.
And when we are talking about the second GCC ASEAN summit obviously provides a high-level political platform for leaders of both blocs to discuss regional and global challenges, including geopolitical stability, maritime security, counter-terrorism, and multilateral cooperation. It reflects both regions' shared commitment to maintaining peace, sovereignty, and dialogue-driven diplomacy in a rapidly changing world. And the second summit focuses on making the economic frameworks, opening new avenues for trade and investment agreements, joint infrastructure projects, halal industry partnerships, green and digital economy initiative. And with ASEAN as a manufacturing powerhouse and the GCC as an energy and finance leader, this summit advances mutual growth through complementary strengths.
Now, amidst all of these dialogues, one thing remains constant is the power of togetherness and diplomacy. The image of leaders from diverse backgrounds standing shoulder to shoulder is not just a symbolic, it is a huge statement for the whole world to see. Statement of peace, partnership, and progress. Not merely ideals, but achievable realities when nations work in trust and unity. And Malaysia as a host extends not just the hospitality, but hope for the future.
The arrival of His Royal Highness, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain.
And arriving now is His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and known for his leadership in economic reforms and global diplomacy. The Crown Prince's participation signifies Bahrain's commitment to regional peace and economic partnership with Southeast Asia.
Malaysia and Bahrain will continue to deepen cooperation in various sectors, such as higher education, investment, relationships to halal industries, where tradition blends with global standards. This milestone itself reflects a calm confidence, where two nations united by mutual respect, a passion for progress, and a belief that cultural understanding is the cornerstone of a sustainable partnership. From the corridors of diplomacy to the streets of our cities, from university halls to rural communities, the decisions made here will shape lives across ASEAN and beyond. So as the summit unfolds and the leaders move to plenary discussions to sessions and meetings, let us be reminded that this is more than a gathering. It is a commitment to the people, a pledge to lead not only with power, but with a purpose.
And the second GCC ASEAN Summit is not just ceremonial, it is strategic and future-oriented. It solidifies a partnership that contributes to global balance, economic resilience, and South-to-South cooperation. As the host country, Malaysia plays a vital role in shaping this evolving alliance that brings together over 700 million people across two continents, united by shared values and mutual aspirations. And with all esteemed heads of government and state of the GCC nations now present, the Honorable Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim now leads the dignitaries toward the summit ballroom.
And so under the radiant daylight of Kuala Lumpur Convention Centre, in the heart of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and at the pulse of ASEAN, we reaffirm a timeless truth that our greatest strength lies not in similarities, but in solidarity. This is our ability to reach out, to lift one another, and to journey forward together toward a common horizon. This is the unity with purpose, a diplomacy at its most human. And this is the ASEAN spirit, alive, steadfast, and ready for the future.
And a moment of unity and mutual respect as leaders from across the Gulf and ASEAN walk side by side, a strong symbol of partnership and shared aspiration.
With the ASEAN Summit 2025, we'll be focusing on the economic integration and the US tariffs. It is a significant focus on addressing the impact of the recent tariff hikes, with ranging of 10% to 49%, and the effect on several ASEAN economies. With this summit, it will emphasize the need for deeper regional integration and diversification of trade partnerships to bolster economic resilience. There'll be much more partnerships and discussions happening here at the ASEAN Summit, and we look forward to the integration part of what's to come.
And now we witness the leaders of ASEAN and GCC walking into the ballroom with dignity and unity, signaling the official start of this historic summit. And each step they take reflects the shared journey of 10 Southeast ASEAN nations, along with Timor-Leste, moving forward with a common purpose toward peace, prosperity, and partnership. And the atmosphere in the ballroom is filled with anticipation and pride. And these distinguished leaders take their places not just as representative of their nations, but as architects of a shared regional future. And this moment marks the opening of the ASEAN Summit 2025, the second GCC ASEAN Summit 2025, hosted in the heart of Kuala Lumpur.
And today, under the Malaysian sky and the spirit of ASEAN, they're gathering here to celebrate diplomatic tradition, to chart new frontiers of cooperation. In a world of uncertainty, ASEAN stands tall, united in diversity, resilient in purpose. The conversations here today go beyond policy. They are about shaping the future for the next generation. From digital connectivity to sustainable development, ASEAN will continue to build bridges of innovation, resilience, and inclusive growth.
And with all esteemed heads of government and state of the GCC nations now present, the Honorable Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim now leads the dignitaries toward the summit ballroom, a moment of unity and mutual respect as leaders from across the Gulf and ASEAN walk side by side, a strong symbol of partnership and shared aspiration.
With the arrival of the ASEAN leaders and as distinguished guests from the Gulf and China, this moment itself stands more than a ceremonial reception, a tribute to the bonds that have been nurtured over decades, and a bold step toward new frontiers of cooperation. In the heart of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, we honor not just titles and traditions, but the shared journey of nations that have walked together through all the changes, challenges, and transformations. With each motorcade that enters the hall itself, we're welcoming not just leaders, but this is the aspirations of over 660 million people across Southeast Asia and beyond. A gathering defined by mutual respect, open dialogue, and visionary leadership. A moment where ASEAN reaffirms its role not merely as a regional bloc, but as a catalyst for peace, for prosperity, and multilateral progress on the global stage.
And the GCC ASEAN Summit is a landmark inter-regional dialogue that strengthens cooperation between the two of the world's most dynamic and strategic blocs, the Gulf Cooperation Council GCC and ASEAN. Together, they represent over 700 million people, vast economic potential, rich cultural diversity, and shared interests in regional and global stability. And the summit paved the way for increased bilateral trade and investment flows, strategic collaboration in sectors like energy, infrastructure, digital economy, and green technology, support for halal industry, logistics, and supply chain resilience. With the GCC's capital and energy expertise and ASEAN industrial and market strengths, this partnership is economically transformative.
And what makes ASEAN a beacon on the world stage is not just its economic strength or strategic position, it's the cultural richness. With each nation brings its own stories, heritage, languages, to traditions that span centuries. This is a celebration of identity, a reminder that unity is not about losing our differences, but embracing and loving them with pride, whether through the rhythms of traditional music, the grace of indigenous dances, or the taste of regional cuisines. With every element that we see and feel reflects the ASEAN spirit, which is vibrant, welcoming, and proudly diverse. This is a moment where the world gets to see not only on how we govern, but how we live and how we celebrate, to how we belong together.
And we are still now awaiting the arrival of the distinguished GCC and ASEAN leaders as they prepare to assemble in the ballroom for the next key segment of the summit. The atmosphere remains poised with anticipation as delegates and dignitaries take their seats and final arrangements are made for this significant gathering of regional powerhouses. And this upcoming session will bring together leaders from both councils, a moment that reflects not only the strength of diplomatic ties, but a shared vision for cooperation in areas such as trade, energy, connectivity, and global stability. As the ballroom fills with the presence of some of the most influential figures from Asia and the Gulf, all eyes are on this high-level platform that holds the promise of deeper partnerships and impactful outcomes.
With these symbolic conversations to walk from one leader to another, it speaks louder than words. A choreography of nations weaving through tradition and transformation. where all of these leaders understand that the road ahead must be walked not alone, but arm in arm, heart to heart. With every warm gesture, in every meaningful exchange shared today, it lies in the living spirit of regionalism. It's not merely on declarations or signatures, but in the direct, genuine bonds of trust, mutual respect, and understanding to the shared courage that will shape a collective destiny for the future, for all of us. And as Southeast Asia extends to embrace the distinguished friends from the Gulf, this summit stands not only as a diplomatic milestone, it is a beacon of what is possible next when the nations rise above rivalry and choosing the partnerships, seeing progress, and building peace of what's coming ahead. A diplomacy in motion to the unity in every stride that we choose.
And we shall begin any minute now. The atmosphere in the ballroom is focused and full of anticipation, as leaders from the GCC and ASEAN are moments away from formally commencing this significant summit session. Delegates are in position, cameras are rolling, and the world is watching as two of the most vital regional blocs come together under one roof. And this upcoming session is expected to mark another chapter in the journey of GCC-ASEAN cooperation, reinforcing mutual commitments in areas such as economy, energy, sustainability, and regional stability. Stay with us as we witness this historic collaboration continue to unfold.
The ASEAN Summit 2025, Malaysia is the pride, the host nation for this year. Regional leadership to diplomacy is being embraced. We're looking to strengthening the multilateral ties between ASEAN, GCC and China. There'll be various discussions on development, youth empowering, peace offering, and economic resilience. The emotional to inspiring tone with an informative backbone through smiles and hugs. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and all viewers tune in from across the region, welcome once again to the 46th ASEAN Summit, hosted with immense pride by Malaysia, right here in the Kuala Lumpur. As leaders from across Southeast Asia arrive, joined by all of these esteemed partners from the Gulf Cooperation Council and China, we bear witness to history in the making. This year's summit is not only just a ceremonial gathering, it's a forum of visionaries, a meeting of minds devoted to shaping a more resilient, inclusive, and interconnected future for our people, for all of us. Malaysia is deeply honored to play host for this significant moment, and a nation firmly rooted in the values of unity, dialogue, and sustainable growth. And our role goes beyond ceremonial duties. We are the facilitators of trust, of collaboration, of regional purpose. With the team of ASEAN 2025, the world navigating economic transitions, technological shifts, and evolving security dynamics, Southeast Asia will stand as a pivotal crossroads. And it's more than ever that this summit reinforces ASEAN's position as a central and proactive force in shaping the global agenda.
And in the ballroom right now, we can see that ministers from each participating country are still waiting patiently as final preparations are made before the session begins. From Malaysia, we see the presence of Minister of Investment, Trade Industry, as well as the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Their involvement underscores Malaysia's active role in shaping and facilitating deeper cooperation between ASEAN and the GCC, especially in trade, diplomacy, and sustainable development. The energy in the room reflects the weight of the discussions to come and the opportunities they hold. And among those present in the hall are key figures representing their nation's strategic interests and commitment to this interregional partnership.
And as we look toward the upcoming itself, the forum is filled with optimism, runs extremely high, a clear intent to deepen the infrastructure of investment, relationship, digital economy, partnerships, to various energy initiatives. ASEAN, once seen as a rising region, is now undeniably a central player in the global economic discourse. And we are here witnessing all leaders and head of states making a change. With all of these dialogues, one thing will remain clear is the diplomacy and togetherness. With the image of leaders from diverse backgrounds, religions to way of life, standing shoulder to shoulder as a symbolic, a statement that partnership, peace and progress is not merely ideals but achievable realities when all the nations work in trust, in unity, in collaboration. And with the horizons of diplomacy to the streets of our cities, we are seeing how this will shape lives across ASEAN and beyond. As this summit unfolds, leaders move from one sessions to bilateral meetings to declarations. Let us remember that this is more than just a gathering. It is a commitment, a promise to the people, to the nation, a pledge to lead not only with power, but with a purpose to bring something back for the nation.
Indeed, delegates from both GCC and ASEAN have been here in Kuala Lumpur for almost a week, deeply engaged in a packed arrangement of bilateral and multilateral meetings, dialogues, and strategic discussions. Their extended presence highlights the importance both regions place in this summit, not just as a ceremonial event, but as a working platform to advance real and meaningful cooperation. Throughout the week, ministers, senior officials, and technical teams have been involved in preparing joint statements, exploring economic frameworks, and finalizing key agreements. From high-level dialogues on trade, energy, and climate action to informal engagement fostering a cultural and diplomatic ties, this summit week has been a powerful reflection of the growing momentum between the Gulf and Southeast Asia. Today's plenary, or today's session, stands as the culmination of all that groundwork and a symbol of the strong that will to move forward together.
And Southeast Asian nations will definitely forge a common front to face challenges, including economic headwinds with the tariffs and the 4-year civil war in Myanmar. Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim, is opening an annual summit of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to start a unified bloc meeting, entirely discussing the tariffs. And with this ASEAN summit, our peace, stability, and prosperity have often depended on an open, inclusive, rules-based international order, with the foundations are now being dismantled under the force of arbitrary action.
And now, a significant moment unfolds. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is seen walking side by side with the GCC leaders into the ballroom. And this powerful entrance marks the unity and shared vision between Malaysia as the host nation and the distinguished leaders of the Gulf Cooperation Council.
With every leader's arrival, every cultural exchange, every bilateral handshake lies a deeper story, one of trust, transformation, and the unwavering belief that Southeast Asia's future is brightest when shaped together. And as Malaysia continues to host and lead with grace and conviction, we're all reminded that this summit may last days, but its impact will echo for decades. This is ASEAN in motion, and this is the power of partnership in action.
And their arrival together is more than a ceremonial. It is a visual statement of solidarity, mutual respect, and forward-looking collaboration. As they make their way to the hall, they are greeted with anticipation by the assembled delegates, signaling that the GCC ASEAN Summit is ready to proceed to its next important phase. The world now watches closely as history continues to unfold in Kuala Lumpur.
And this right here is where diplomacy lives, not just in formal addresses or pictures, but in this candid, meaningful exchanges between leaders, with conversations to pictures and statements, building the bridges that pave way for trade agreements, educational exchange, and cultural cooperation, as well as, importantly, mutual understanding.
And the leaders now are on stage for official group photograph, powerful visual of regional unity, trust, and ambition. And these portraits will no doubt become part of the history, capturing an important moment of international cooperation.
Allow me to count. In 3, 2, 1.
And what we're witnessing now may look like a casual photography, but within these exchanges lie discussions that affect millions. Trade routes that boost local economies, tech policies supporting digital equity, partnerships that uplift education and green innovation. The talks, conversations, meetings, showing how ASEAN operates by consensus, mutual benefit from all regions, and always with a view toward the greater good. This is a system built not on power but on partnerships. If you look closely, in the way that leaders lean in to listen, in the way they pause to engage fully, you can see a culture of mutual respect despite the differences they all have. And in these quiet moments between official statements, the trust is deepened and partnerships are made real. ASEAN, together with its dialogue partners, thrives because of this very foundation. One rooted not just in policy, but in personal connection. Now, as conversations unfold around the summit halls, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, stands as a trusted intermediary, bringing together perspective, bridging the gaps, to even promoting ASEAN centrality. This role is extremely vital in today's complex geopolitical environment between ASEAN, GCC, ASEAN-China, or among ASEAN's own family. These face-to-face moments reaffirm Malaysia's quiet strength in dialogue, diplomacy, through education reform to artificial intelligence governance. We're also looking at green finance to regional security, where leaders are not just talking about it, they're actually planning for tomorrow.
And now the Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, is taking a gracious moment to personally greet the ministers and delegates from both GCC and ASEAN countries. Moving through the hall with warmth and confidence, he exchanges smiles and words of welcome, a testament to Malaysia's role as a thoughtful and inclusive host for this landmark summit. And this gesture not only reflects diplomatic courtesy, but also Malaysia's commitment to fostering strong relationships at all levels, from heads of government to ministerial and working level delegates. It's these interpersonal moments that set the tone for collaboration as leaders and officials alike prepare to engage in dialogue that will shape the future of inter-regional ties.
I was looking into this, noticed the rich diversity in today's interactions, from Southeast Asia to Gulf and China.
And now the opening remarks by the Honourable Prime Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim.
On behalf of the government, the people of Malaysia, and of course ASEAN, I'm honored to welcome all of you to Kuala Lumpur for the second ASEAN-GCC Summit. It is indeed a profound privilege for us in Malaysia and ASEAN, and for me to co-chair with Royal Highness Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Kuwait. The summit, to give credit, the foundation of the summit was laid during the inaugural summit in Riyadh in 2023. And your presence is a testament to our shared commitment to foster strong bonds. The theme for ASEAN this year is inclusivity and sustainability. And we proceed with the ASEAN-GCC framework of cooperation 24 to 2028, which was adopted at the inaugural summit. Now, GCC was ASEAN's 7th largest trading partner in 2023 with USD $130.7 billion. Growing investment reflecting confidence in both GCC and ASEAN. As I had referred to last night, ASEAN, alhamdulillah, happens to be the most peaceful region and economically vibrant and dynamic. GCC also, as I said, made that major paradigm shift from a gloomy desert culture to a vibrant, promising, dynamic economically with the latest state-of-the-art, new technology, digital and AI expertise. So ASEAN-GCC relationship will certainly be key in enhancing inter-regional collaboration, building resilience, and securing sustainable prosperity for all. Now, today's deliberations will be crucial in ensuring that our partnership remains dynamic, responsive, and impactful. We have the means and responsibility to rise as anchors of stability and engines for future growth. I look forward to a meaningful exchange of views that will pave the way for tangible initiatives under our growing and enduring partnership. Your Highness and Your Majesties, may I conclude by saying that this is, in our experience in this region, quite extraordinary. To be able to bring not only ASEAN leaders, but the most dynamic GCC countries into this region to work together, build on trust, cooperation, and true friendship. With that, I have the pleasure to declare the second ASEAN-GCC summit open. In case not heard, I had to say 3 times. Now, Your Majesty, Excellencies, I have the honor of inviting His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Sabah, Crown Prince of the State of Kuwait, who is now the President of the current session of the Supreme Council of the GCC, to deliver his opening remarks. Your Highness, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. معالي الأخ داتو سيري أنور إبراهيم، رئيس وزراء ماليزيا الصديقة ورئيس الدورة الحالية لرابطة جنوب شرق آسيا، إخواني أصحاب الجلالة والسمو قادة دول مجلس التعاون لدول الخليج العربية، الأصدقاء أصحاب الفخامة قادة دول رابطة جنوب شرق آسيا، معالي الأمين العام لمجلس التعاون لدول الخليج العربية، معالي الأمين العام لرابطة جنوب شرق آسيا، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يطيب لي أن أتحدث إليكم اليوم باسم مجلس التعاون لدول الخليج العربية، ويسرني بداية أن أنقل لكم تحيات صاحب السمو أمير دولة الكويت الشيخ مشعل أحمد الجابر الصباح حفظه الله ورعاه، وتمنيات سموه الصادقة بالتوفيق والنجاح لأعمال هذه القمة التي تشكل محطة بارزة في مسيرة الشراكة المتنامية بين مجلس التعاون لدول الخليج العربية ورابطة دول الآسيان. كما أود أن أعبر عن بالغ الشكر والتقدير لصاحب الجلالة السلطان إبراهيم إسماعيل بن السلطان اسكندر ملك ماليزيا الصديقة ولحكومة ماليزيا وشعبها الصديق على كرم الضيافة وحسن التنظيم وللترتيبات المميزة التي أضفت على هذه القمة أجواء من الثقة والاحترام المتبادلين. أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو والمعالي، تجتمع اليوم جهتان فاعلتان على الساحة الدولية تتمتع كل منهما بمقومات جغرافية وبشرية واستراتيجية هائلة، مما يؤهلهما لأن يكونا طرفين فاعلين ويقوما بدور هام في ظل ما يشهده العالم من تحولات اقتصادية متسارعة وتحديات أمنية متشابكة ومخاطر مناخية متزايدة وثورة تكنولوجية تفرض أنماطا جديدة من التعاون والشراكة. ويأتي اجتماعنا الهام على مستوى القادة لأعمال هذه القمة التي نراها محطة أساسية في مسيرة تعزيز التعاون بين الجانبين تجسيدا لعمق علاقاتنا التاريخية وتعبيرا عن تجديد التزامنا الجماعي ببناء شراكة استراتيجية ترتكز على المصالح المشتركة وتستند إلى قواعد القانون الدولي وتعزيز التنمية الشاملة والمستدامة لشعوبنا. وقد شكلت قمة الرياض الأولى التي عقدت بين الجانبين في 20 أكتوبر 2023 انطلاقة ناجحة لرسم ملامح تعاون متكامل لنبني على هذا الزخم معتمدين على إطار التعاون الاستراتيجي 2024-2028 بوصف خارطة الطريق لوضع الأطر المؤسسية لهذه الشراكة وتحويلها إلى أدوات عملية قادرة على تحقيق التقدم المنشود. وتكمن أهمية هذه الشراكة في أن الجانبين يمثلان مجتمعين قوة اقتصادية وبشرية هائلة، حيث بلغ إجمالي الناتج المحلي لدولنا 16 ما يقارب 6 تريليون دولار، وتضم شعوبنا نحو 740 مليون نسمة، وتربط بيننا ممرات بحرية وتجارية تعد من بين الأهم عالميا، مما يمنح تعاوننا بعدا جيوسياسيا واستراتيجيا له تأثير مباشر على الاستقرار الإقليمي والنمو الاقتصادي العالمي. وأننا ننظر بإيجابية وتفاؤل إلى ما تحقق من مكتسبات منذ انعقاد القمة الأولى، ونؤكد أهمية مواصلة البناء على هذه الإنجازات من خلال البحث عن آفاق جديدة تواكب التطورات في العالم، لا سيما في مجال الذكاء الاصطناعي والأمن السبراني. أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو والمعالي، في المجالين السياسي والأمني نؤكد التزامنا بالحوار البناء والتفاهم المتبادل واحترام السيادة وعدم التدخل في الشؤون الداخلية، بما يعزز أسس الاستقرار الإقليمي والدولي. كما ندعو إلى تعزيز التعاون في مكافحة الإرهاب والتطرف والجريمة المنظمة وتكثيف تبادل المعلومات الأمنية وتحسين القدرة لمواجهة الأزمات. وفي المجالين الاقتصادي والاستثماري يسعدنا أن يمثل مجلس التعاون سابع أكبر شريك تجاري للآسيان في عام 2023 وبإجمالي تجارة بلغ 130.7 مليار دولار أمريكي، ونتوقع أن يشهد حجم التجارة نمو متوسطا بنسبة 30% ليصل إلى 180 مليار دولار بحلول عام 2032. إن حجم الفرص التي يمكن استثمارها بين الجانبين هائل، وما تحقق حتى الآن يؤكد أننا على المسار الصحيح، فحجم التبادل التجاري في السلع بين مجلس التعاون والآسيان تجاوز 122 مليار دولار في عام 2023، ونشهد تزايدا مستمرا في الاستثمارات الخليجية في الأسواق الآسيوية، مما يعكس الثقة المتبادلة والتكامل الاقتصادي المتنامي، ويجسد حجم الإمكانات المتاحة لمضاعفة هذه الأرقام عبر سياسات اقتصادية محفزة. وعليه فإننا نؤكد أهمية الاستمرار في تعزيز التعاون الاقتصادي والتجاري والاستثماري والفني، ونتطلع إلى التوصل لنتائج إيجابية في مناقشات مفاوضات اتفاقية التجارة الحرة بين الجانبين، وبشكل يسهم في إتاحة الفرص لتعزيز الفرص الاستثمارية ودعم سلاسل التوريد الإقليمية. وبالنسبة إلى تعزيز التعاون في مجال أمن الطاقة والتغيير المناخي، نؤكد أن أمن الطاقة والاستدامة البيئية من أبرز أولويات التعاون الدولي، وفي هذا الإطار نثمن التقدم الذي أحرزته دول الآسيان في تعزيز استخدامات الطاقة المتجددة، ونعرب عن استعداد دول مجلس التعاون لتبادل الخبرات في مجالات الطاقة النظيفة والهيدروجين الأخضر والتقنيات منخفضة الكربون، بما يعزز أهداف اتفاق باريس للمناخ. وفي ظل التحديات التي فرضتها الأزمة الجيوسياسية وجائحة كوفيد-19، نرى أهمية تطوير شراكات استراتيجية في مجال الأمن الغذائي من خلال استثمارات مستدامة في القطاع الزراعي وتعزيز الابتكار في سلاسل الإنتاج والتوريد. كما ندعو إلى التعاون في بناء اقتصاد رقمي شامل يواكب التحولات التكنولوجية الكبرى والتجارة الإلكترونية، ونقترح تبادل التجارب في تطوير البنية التحتية الرقمية. فيما يتعلق بالتعاون في المجالين الثقافي والإنساني، نقترح اعتماد عام 2026 عاما للتقارب الثقافي بين مجلس التعاون والآسيان، يتخلله تنظيم أسابيع ومنتديات ثقافية ومعارض فنية، وأن يتفق على تنظيم يوم الآسيان في إحدى دول مجلس التعاون، وتنظيم اليوم الثقافي لمجلس التعاون في إحدى دول الآسيان، وذلك لتحقيق الأهداف والطموحات المنشودة. كما ندعو إلى إدراج مبادرات مشتركة لتمكين الشباب والمرأة ضمن خطة العمل المقبلة من خلال برامج تدريب وبناء مهارات ومشاريع ريادية تواكب طموحات الأجيال الجديدة في منطقتينا. أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو والمعالي، تتابع دول مجلس التعاون لدول الخليج العربية بقلق بالغ استمرار المأساة الإنسانية في قطاع غزة وبقية الأراضي الفلسطينية المحتلة، وتؤكد مجددا موقفها الثابت تجاه القضية الفلسطينية وتأييدها لحق الشعب الفلسطيني الشقيق في إقامة دولته المستقلة على حدود 4 يونيو 1967 وعاصمتها القدس الشرقية. وندعو المجتمع الدولي إلى تحمل مسؤولياته القانونية والأخلاقية وممارسة الضغوط اللازمة لوقف العدوان وضمان الحماية الدولية للمدنيين. كما نجدد دعوتنا إلى استئناف عملية سلام جادة وذات مصداقية تستند إلى قرارات الشرعية الدولية ومبادرة السلام العربية. ونثمن في هذا الإطار مواقف رابطة الآسيان في دعم الحقوق المشروعة للشعب الفلسطيني الشقيق ونصرة قضاياه العادلة. فيما يتعلق بالأوضاع في سوريا، فإن دول مجلس التعاون ترحب بالتطورات الإيجابية التي تشهدها الساحة السورية، وتؤكد دعمها لكافة الجهود الرامية إلى تحقيق الأمن والاستقرار والحفاظ على سيادة سوريا ووحدة أراضيها، بما يكفل للشعب السوري الشقيق استعادة أمنه واستقراره ويفتح أمامه آفاق التنمية والازدهار. أصحاب الجلالة والفخامة والسمو والمعالي، إن النجاح الحقيقي لقمتنا هذه لا يقاس فقط بما يعلن من توصيات، بل بما ينجز من مبادرات وما يترجم من أهداف وطموحات مشتركة إلى نتائج ملموسة وخطوات تنفيذية. لذلك نقترح وضع آلية متابعة رفيعة المستوى تشرف عليها الأمانة العامة لكلا الجانبين، وتعنى برفع تقارير دورية منتظمة حول التقدم المحرز في تنفيذ مخرجات هذه القمة، بما يعزز الفعالية والاستمرارية. كما تتطلع دول مجلس التعاون إلى مشاركة دول آسيان في معرض إكسبو 2030 الذي ستستضيفه مدينة الرياض عاصمة المملكة العربية السعودية الشقيقة، كفرصة عالمية لتقديم نموذج جديد من الشراكات المستدامة والتقنيات المستقبلية والانفتاح الاقتصادي والثقافي. وختاما، نكرر شكرنا وتقديرنا لماليزيا الصديقة، متمنين لمداولة قمتنا النجاح في تحقيق أهدافها النبيلة، ولشراكتنا الخليجية الآسيوية دوام النماء والازدهار. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
شكرا His Highness Sheikh Sabah. I take note of the presence of Amir of Qatar, His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Khalifa Al Thani. Thank you for joining us. Amir and Qatar has been a great friend, and collaborations with Malaysia has been excellent, and with ASEAN. So may I, on behalf of my colleagues, express my profound appreciation and thanks and gratitude, because you took all the trouble just to attend this session to show your personal and your country's support for this initiative of ASEAN-GCC. I understand that you have to, due to early commitments, but coming here just to honor this session is certainly something extraordinary and which touch our hearts. Well, shukran for your presence. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate this. Now, I of course share the sentiments expressed by the Crown Prince, His Highness, also on international issues. And as you know, the Palestinian and Gaza case has been a pain in our hearts, expressed strongly by many of us. And we are with you, hoping for final settlement, nothing more. I grew up to be against colonization of any form, and therefore reject the colonization of any country. We grew up to respect the dignity, human dignity, and aspirations of people. So we hope that this resolution to this decades of atrocities inflicted by Israel should end. Ceasefire, immediate ceasefire, and the recognition of a two-state solution, which is also, in terms of cessation of violence,